Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about why we should even talk about business ethics. Most people feel it's almost an oxymoron. Business and ethics going together doesn't make sense. Most of the time when I go to a party and people ask me what I do and I tell them I teach this course, they have a good chuckle and make that comment. So what's the point of learning business ethics? And why is it in almost every university's curriculum? So that's what I want to talk about today. And there are a couple of angles that I'm going to take you through. The first reason that I believe you need to study business ethics is because it generates the most successful results in any business enterprise. When you're working with a company and you're trying to motivate the staff or get sales, you're trying to engage different partners in the company. We don't call them partners, which is what allows us to treat them as something less. But the fact that they really are partners in our business is one of the reasons that we should be studying business ethics, because that will give us the methodology to deal with them. For example, we have employees. The employees in a business make the business happen. If there are no employees, there really is no business, because whatever it is that you make or you sell or whatever service you have, it's not going to happen without people who can deliver it. Now it's true, you could be a one-man business, but that's going to be a pretty small business. How do I get the most out of my employees? So I'm sure that all of you have had experiences where you've had to work for a manager or a boss or an owner that have been very difficult to work for, that have made you feel less than what you are, have criticized you constantly, have called you names. Maybe they even swore at you. In all of those cases, you didn't turn around and say, wow, this is great. I'm going to do my very best for this company. The first conclusion of most people is to turn around and say, I hate this, but I need the paycheck. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get paid, and that's it. Usually what that amounts to is somewhere between 70 and 80% of a person's capabilities. So the moment that you begin to treat people in that sort of demeaning way, you're automatically losing 30% of their productivity. I have a friend who works for a company. They sell the service of being able to come into your company, and simply by changing the culture in your company, it will guarantee you a 20% improvement in productivity. Now that's a pretty outstanding claim and a pretty amazing claim. That means with the same fixed assets that you had before, you'll be able to get 20% more output in your business. I'd say that's a pretty good deal. That put a lot of money on your bottom line. How do they accomplish that? It's no big secret. They change the culture of the company. They turn it around so that the people will do whatever it takes to make the company successful. Not a deep, dark secret, but it's something that we don't often think of. Another partner in the business are obviously your customers. Without your customers, you're not going to have much of a business, because there's not going to be anything to derive revenue from. But very often, many companies treat the customer as a necessary evil. Now, they don't tell you that. I think of all the times that I've gone in to see clients and ask them about their customers, they always have something positive to say. Like, I want to do anything I can for my customers. I bend over backwards for my customers. We tell ourselves all these fantasies, but it's not true. And the reality is, only in one case, in almost 30 years of consulting, in only one case did I ever get a truthful answer. I went into this one organization. They were suffering. I got sent in by the bank. I asked the manager, CEO, what he knew about his customers. Now, most of the time, people don't know anything about their customers, except that they like having them. But this guy had a really unique answer. He said to me, my customers are idiots. They're fools. I'm sitting there, and I'm telling you, I thought I fell off the chair. I said, really? Tell me about that. He said, look, it's not complicated. If my customers were smart, they'd be buying all their stuff from me. I make the best quality. I sell it at the best price. I deliver on time. How could they not want to buy from me? The only reason is that they're fools. I said to the guy, thank you very much. I don't think that what I have to offer you is something that will work for you. So I excused myself and I left. And that CEO was gone within 6 months. It was an astounding revelation, however. So your customer is an integral part of your business. And if you treat them as if they're just some part of in the final part of the process, in other words, you've made this great product and now you're just delivering it to this unfortunate thing called a customer, you're not going to be too successful. Obviously, another partner in the business is the shareholder, the people who actually own the business. Now, most of the time, it seems that we are managing the business for the shareholders. However, if you manage it exclusively for the shareholders, then all the other stakeholders, the customers and the employees so far, they're not represented in the decision-making process. And that's what business ethics is going to deal with. What kind of a decision-making process are you using? Because that will govern your results. So the shareholder is definitely important. The final partner in the model that I use is the environment. Now, it's kind of a weird partner because it's not just like air and water, things of that sort, but it's also the raw materials that we use for whatever product it is that we make. So, for example, if you were a paper company and you were making paper, so you would need to have wood in order to make your product. It's very important that you're constantly aware of the changing dynamics around the raw materials that you're using to make your product. Whether they are polluting, whether they are diminishing in supply, whether they need a sustainable strategy, if that's possible. These are all things that you have to consider in order to be able to manage that partnership. Now, the thing that's different about calling this a partnership as opposed to calling it a relationship or a structure is that in a relationship or a structure, it's very easy to develop priorities. But in a partnership, when everyone's an equal partner, everybody comes to the table, they all have the same priority. And that is a very critical aspect in being able to make ethical decisions. Because now the decision you make for a client or a customer will also have to have a parallel decision tree for the employees that may have to deliver your decision. In today's business world, we deal with a number of very stressful issues. First of all, volatility. Nothing is the same as it was yesterday. Everything is ready to explode in many cases. Not that things aren't stable, but there's a lot of volatility because things are able to change. New technologies suddenly emerge into the marketplace because of some dramatic development. Shifting labor supplies, changing consumer consumption patterns, all kinds of things that impact you. Going on the internet and suddenly selling your product on the internet when you don't have a distribution channel to the internet, that's a dramatic impact. So everything is changing, and it's changing very, very quickly. So we have to be aware of this volatility, and that's one of the reasons we're using business ethics, because our ability to respond to volatility will be through business ethics. Secondly, you have uncertainty. Even though things are moving around very quickly and you can track what's moving, you have no way of planning for that. You don't know that yesterday's policies will be tomorrow's crimes. You thought you were doing the right thing, you were doing the totally wrong thing. And especially in a world that's filled with social media, and you make a decision that impacts your business that you thought was proper, and suddenly, because of social media, there's a gigantic backlash. That has a tremendous effect on companies, because companies are trying to create stability so they can plan and produce. So uncertainty is a big problem. With uncertainty, we have competition. That's changing as well. The dynamics of our competition are altering daily. Used to be the local store, now it's the internet. Used to be the internet, tomorrow it'll be something else. So you can see again that the pace of change and movement is enormously fast. And containing this entire package, the volatility and the uncertainty and the competition, is the ambiguity of what it is that we're doing. Is this the right thing? Do people want us to go down this particular path? Or should we be going down that path? What do we do? We're not getting clear signals from society, because one group will give us guidance in one way, another group another way. They're both our demographics. How do we deal with it? All of these issues, the volatility, the uncertainty, the competition, the ambiguity, the partnership relationship with the key elements, the key stakeholders of our business, are all fundamental, basic foundation reasons for studying business ethics, or ethics period. Because it is only through that framework that we will be able to integrate the stakeholders with the environment that we're in and manage it so that the company is successful.